Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Swimrun Show podcast. So lots to catch up on. We missed a week of the podcast last week because it was just too hectic. But that means we've got loads to catch up on this week. We've got a special guest, Sarah King from Southsea Swimrun, really experienced swimrunner. And we'll have a good chat in a moment. Before that though, quick race catch up. The Hokey Cokey in Cornwall. They had their first race down there on the 25th of May. Some coolish water, a bit of wind, and waves and action. Looked great. Well done, John and the team and all the participants. Tough course. And then just Saturday gone, it's Friday today. So just last Saturday, Tallyclin Swimrun. It was an awesome race. Great to see a real battle at the front of the pack in both the solo category and in particular the teams. It was to and fro, nip and tuck on that one. Andrew Barber, doing his first ever swim run at the age of 50-something, late 50s, I think. I think Andrew will be happy with that. Not giving too much away. But yeah, first swim run, and he won it. He set a new course record, beating Pete Jervis's prior, and Fred Newton set one a couple of years ago. So, wow. He beat Rhiannon Roxburgh, who set a female course record. Rhiannon, of course, top athletes from GOG Triathlon and Tri-Rox Training. So yeah, great. And then the teams category, that was even closer. We had Paul Skipper and Helen Skipper racing for the first time together since 2015 at Brecca Buttermere, where they won the mixed category. So it was basically 10 years since they raced together, and they were back at it. Helen's not done much swimming at all, but Paul got her through that, and the running was great. They were nip and tuck with Victoria and Simon Cole from GOG Triathlon. Now Victoria is, I learned later, is world aquathlon champion in one of the age groups, 30 something, and Simon is also top aquathlon athlete. I think he's third in the world or something. So, yeah, okay, pretty. These guys can move, and they did. They won outright in the end. On the final swim, they were pretty much neck and neck, and then they just pulled away on the last run. So well done to Victoria and Simon there, and everyone who took part. A lot of fun, a lot of familiar faces and some new faces, and lots of new people starting their swimrun journey. So that was great to see. What was really evident was the learning between participants, and that is great. It seems more than other races have done, more than other sports have done. The sharing of experience on the start line, the registration, finish line, during the course, you just learn so much when you do a swim run. So I know there's questions when it's your first one, but the biggest learning experience is that first one. So just 95%, if not more, of a swim run is swimming and running. The 5% you'll learn mostly by doing it. So don't hesitate. It's a good friendly vibe at every race I've ever done. Even like the top races in Europe. Really cool. So there we go. That's enough of me spouting on. I'm sure I'll spout on a bit more later. But without further ado, here is Sarah King of Southsea Swimrun. Okay, so we have Sarah King here today from Southsea Swimrun. How are you, Sarah?
Yeah, no, I'm great. We've finally got some sunshine and some sea we can swim in, so that's nice. How are you?
Nice. I'm good. Thank you. Been a bit hectic recently.
I bet, yeah. Races.
Yeah, but starting to see a little bit of calm before more hecticness. So what's the water temperature down there? Are you down in Portsmouth, is it?
Yeah, it is Portsmouth. Portsmouth and Southsea are basically like they're combined. I think they used to be two separate places. Over the years, they've gathered together. It's a good question. I've finally taken off the neoprene hat. I think that's probably the. I'm going to guess maybe 15 degrees, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. I'm still in a wetsuit. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. It's That's kind of good. A good swim run temperature, though, isn't it? When you're running as well, and I was just
Absolutely.
the reason I'm thinking it's just the Great North swim runs tomorrow. I
Oh,
noticed they put the Windermere temperature was 15 degrees, but it's a cool wind. And I was at the docks last night in Liverpool. It's a cool wind at the moment up here,
yeah,
so it'll be interesting to see people's choices tomorrow at that
yeah. Because
event.
how long is that one? Because
Well, there's a few distances, like a kind of 10, 12 ish K one, I think, then a middle 26 ish, and then a 38K type.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah. If air
interesting.
temperature's cold, then yeah, you could have a few chilly people out there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, Sarah, how did you get into swim run, and what's your story?
It's a very good question. I was one of those kids who loved cross country. There were maybe three of us in the entire country who liked
Yeah.
going out in the snow in our pants, to do some cross country. And I was a swimmer, but I was never like I was also of the Jaws generation. So, like actually going in open water was a terrifying thought to me until I got into my 30s. And
Right.
I was living briefly in New Zealand, and you cannot not do like lots of ridiculous sports and dangerous things whilst you're in New Zealand. They're really into all that sort of stuff. So I kind of finally embraced open water swimming because they had a series of events around the country. And I had some good friends who were quite keen to do those. Um, and yeah, I've always been a runner. So I get back to the UK um, and I find a tri club to join, and suddenly I'm doing an Ironman because
Hmm.
apparently just a sprinter and Olympic is not enough. I don't know. To be fair, I like the endurance stuff because you can take your time with that. Nobody's forcing you to run until you vomit or anything. Um, so yeah, I
Yeah.
got into this tri club, was doing endurance stuff. Don't like cycling, and I was out for a run one day with a friend, and he said, "I've got this mate, Lulu, really into running and swimming, has seen this thing called Swimrun." And I was like, "Oh God, no, I've seen bits of that too." And he was like, "Well, I'll get you in touch with each other," because at the time, obviously, the long distance stuff you had to do in pairs. And so in 2018, we headed off to the Gower because that was the one we could fit in both our schedules. And yeah, we did the long course at Breca Gower, and it was ridiculously hot
Yes,
in
it was.
Wales that year.
Yep.
And we had an awesome time. We loved it. And being still quite a niche sport, and being two ladies in a niche sport, we came second. So we got on the podium.
Brilliant.
So what's not to like when you find an excellent sport in a beautiful place and suddenly somebody gives you a trophy? It's like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, just brilliant stuff. And
Yeah.
so we were going to do it again the next year, and we were training for it, and then Lulu got injured, and my mate from Dry Club, one of my best friends, Vinicius, decided that he quite liked the look of this as well because he wasn't also not into cycling. It seems to be if you're not really fond of cycling, swim run is the way to go. And
Yeah.
he stepped in like 3 weeks before we were due to go to the Gower in 2019 and bought himself a suit. We did maybe 2 training sessions and we went. And again, it was another ridiculously hot year in
Mm.
in Wales.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was quite a long and like hard event. We did not get on the podium,
Right.
but sort of out of that, like I would happily probably just run up and down Southsea seafront by myself doing swim run because I enjoy it, and if people would like to join me, then hooray! But Vinny's more if he likes to do something, then he really just wants everybody to do it as well. So
Okay.
Southsea Swimrun basically came out of that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
First swimrun club in the UK, I believe.
Yeah. He loves a club and he loves a logo. So, yeah.
So cool. Okay, so Brecker Gower, 2018. I was there with Chris
Brilliant.
Houston, who's got back into it recently. I remember that day. Well, I think it was a semi-final of the World Cup or something, or the Euros. It was
Oh,
definitely a semi-final of something. And
is that a football
I
thing,
think
is it?
Ben had organised a big screen with the football on. But I remember thinking and chatting to the race director on the day about the wetsuits, because it's still a bit vague, isn't it, with wetsuits and swimrun,
Yeah.
and about him allowing non-wetsuits back then, because it was a warm one. But yeah, great race, and it's coming back in a kind of a format this year with Gritty
Yeah.
Rascals. I know they've gone a bit shorter, but yeah, good to see that one back on.
Cool.
And so Southeast Swimrun Club.
Southsea.
I've seen you've got regular sessions. Sorry, Southsea, not Southeast Swimrun is Paul and Jude's. They've got lots going on there. Southsea Swimrun
Yeah.
Club is down on the south coast.
Yeah.
And so what's your kind of membership? How many guys are you getting out there?
So not as many as we did have. I think the problem with setting up a club just before a pandemic hits, and particularly so in the early days, because we weren't overseen by like a triathlon federation. As long as we were within the pandemic rules, we could go out and do stuff. Whereas I think the triathlon clubs at the time had sort of decided that they couldn't really get people together because they couldn't guarantee how many people there would be, and it was all very complicated. So we gathered quite a lot of of people within the rules in the early days, and people were super keen. And we were, I remember in that first year of the pandemic, or it might even be the second year of the pandemic. It did go on for a while, didn't it? Whenever there was like a shorter Tillo event, and we obviously couldn't get to it, we would basically, Vinny would map out the distances along the seafront, and we would basically do the Attillo events, but in Southsea. And so we had quite a lovely sort of group of keen beans kind of coming out, and we would get little rock medals on little sort of rope chains, and for competing. And but it also meant after the pandemic, all those people who were really into their triathlon, all those deferred events came back to them. So for a good year and a half post-pandemic, everybody kind of got back into their triathlon again because, they'd got places. And so it has been a bit more difficult we've still got a good core group, and, people are still interested. And, the minute we run up and down that prom, somebody will be like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And how, can we join? Is there there's a website. And so we do have at the moment, because the season's only really just started as well. And we've only just started getting sea that's warm enough and that it's not rained. So, the water company won't have sort of pumped whatever into there. So yeah, we're doing we do a run session on a Wednesday, which is an interval session, so that you can, you get used to all those short runs between swims.
Right.
We've got a guy called Chris who sort of takes us for that, it's quite dedicated. He's getting in there at the moment in his tri-suit swim running, so he's
Nice.
it's a bit harder than I am. And we've just started up doing one on a Tuesday morning, which is obviously not for everybody, but we've got a couple of guys who've sort of semi-retired, so they've taken it upon themselves to do that, and we just need to start thinking about Saturday or Sunday mornings, and maybe one in the evening, and seeing who we can get back out there again. Just we did manage to get a few of us, just a couple of us, out in Sweden at WeSwimrun the other weekend.
Yes,
That
you
was
went
quite
to
nice.
Swimrun. Yeah, yeah. How was
Yeah.
that?
Oh, it was great, um, and it was so nice because I've been and done the final 15. Um, Again, that was probably in 2018, 2019 time.
Hmm.
Um, so it was really good to go back out to the Stockholm area and see how the Swedes do it, kind of.
Yeah.
And the ex swimrun guys are super friendly. I think they're quite keen to keep it more. It's quite grassroots again. It's
Hmm.
not the behemoth that Attilo kind of has become or is becoming. And yeah, it was a 20. I did the long, so it was the 24 kilometers, which sounds that sounds fine, doesn't it? Like when you're used to doing the marathon ones. But and it was quite flat, but the terrains, it was on trails, and there was a couple of islands to go over and some geese to hiss at you. And so yeah, you had to really keep an eye on where you were putting your feet. And they had a heat wave kind of in the last 3 weeks because it snowed 3 weeks before the event.
Right.
So we were like going, oh my God, how much neoprene am I going to need for this? I'm going to get hypothermia on the way round. And we get
Yeah.
out there, the air temperature's 26 degrees.
Ooh.
The water's 19, 20 degrees. The pros are
Wow.
running around in swimming costumes. Like, and yeah, but it was really good. And they throw in that, what they call the base jump at the
Yeah.
end, just to,
Yeah.
liven it up a bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Falcon Mountain base jump. How was that? I saw a
how
picture.
was
Was that you doing a good pose off the top there?
There was no thought in that. There was, I. They did say we don't want you just falling off the end, and I was like, oh my God, is it so high that if you just drop off the end, you're gonna, be splattered in the rocks? So I did a proper run up, and I made sure I got as far away. They were like, aim for that boy out there. But yeah, the only reason I did it was because I looked down at I think what they called the chicken run. So if you
Mm.
didn't want to go off it, you could clamber down the cliff face and get in the water. And I thought, actually, at this point, with my legs quite wobbly from the rest of the event, I think I'm just gonna go off the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, but they swim you past it near the beginning, so you can have a really good look as to how big it
Ah,
is.
cool. Cool. That sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know if yeah, it sounds almost like a Red Bull style thing, doesn't it?
Well, they had a competition, so
Yes.
yeah, you won some frank paddles if you yeah. So they said create a pose, but there were people back flipping off it and stuff. So
Yeah. I
you were
saw
never
that
going to
one,
win.
yeah. Yeah. Nicholas Roman mentioned the prize. That sounded awesome. And yeah, I think the backflip guy won it, which is fair enough. Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he obviously just does that every week. I don't know.
Yeah, get practicing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounded good. And what did you wear in the end on the hot? So we'll just do a bit
So
of
I
gear
went
chat.
because I've got, and it's falling apart at the seams now. So I shamed myself in my arc. What would it be? The cheapest arc you can get, the one with the blue.
Oh, the corp.
Yeah, which is a
Corp.
wonderful suit. I love that suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get myself a new one, but
And it was okay
um,
on temperature.
it
Wasn't
was.
too
There was
hot.
only it was because of so it was 19 runs and 18 swims. So there's like except for the beginning when it was a 2.5K run. So I didn't put it up to start with. I just put it up on the way to the first run. But apart from that, you were just running and swimming in the full kit. Like I think I only took my swim hat off just for the last run, for the photos. But yeah, which is the photo you need, isn't it, when you've had your swim hat on for 4 hours? Yeah. But yeah, so so that was actually a really good, because it's a light suit and you didn't really run enough that it overheated. So
Yeah.
yeah, and the
That's good.
water, as I say, was mostly like 19, 20 degrees. So you'd come to the odd patch that was just chilly, but nothing to worry about at all. It was great.
Yeah. Good. Sounds good. So yeah, just on the gear, I found the question. It's almost getting more complicated for people swimrun because before there wasn't much on Google, and you just have to work it out yourself and just be happy with that, and then do it,
Yeah.
learn, do something else next time, maybe. Now, a couple of people had a workshop not long ago, and well, twice this happened. They turned up with shoes that were not what I mean, there's no such thing really as a swim run shoe. But
Yeah.
I'd expect, a trail running shoe. They turned up with shoes. They said, "Oh, I said, where did you get these from?" And they said, I put in Google swim run shoe, and this was one
Okay.
of the recommendations. And
What did
it was kind of like a foam, no grip at all, foamy bottom. It was almost like something you might wear. I don't know, on a boat.
they
Not
have?
assuming you're not doing that much action on the boat. Like, a very light, very very light thing that would slip on rocks, basically. And that
Oh
came up
God.
as one of the when you type in Google swim run shoe. This
Yeah.
is so obviously there's these companies, God, wherever they are, putting in various things and algorithms or whatever, and
Yeah. The
these
metadata.
weird shoes are turning up, and that happened twice. So I typed in swim run shoe in Google, and later on, and so I came across all these strange recommendations.
Yeah.
And it's more so with the shoes. With the wetsuits, I think it's more obvious if you do type swim run wetsuit. Although, having said that, a good friend, Dave, his fiance, is signed up for Gower. No, not Gower, Coniston in
Lovely.
September. And he was saying, "Oh, what about wetsuits? Becky's got." So I said, "Has she got a wetsuit?" I said, "Oh yeah, she's got that." And she sent me a picture, and it was a Zone 3 tri-suits. So,
Oh,
and she said, "Well, I typed in swim run suit, and it said it'd be good for swim run on the internet." And so she's bought this quite expensive Zone 3 tri-suit, which probably, might be okay, but Lake District at the end of September might not be
yeah.
okay.
I think so. On the Southsea Swimrun website, we've got like at least a post that says about kit. Sort of the basics of what you need. And I know for a fact, I'm sure swimrun.com has something similar. And
Hmm.
I imagine most of the organisers have probably
Yeah,
got a little section on their websites that give you advice about the
yeah,
basics.
yeah.
So, so it's a bit of a shame we're not coming up as
Exactly, yeah.
yeah. So anybody listening, you need a proper swimrun neoprene wetsuit, and you need, depending on the trail,
Yeah.
either trail shoes that you would happily run a good distance in, or a good running shoe if it's not like a technical course that you'd also happily run in. There you go. Get the words out there.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah,
boat shoe.
that sums it up nicely. Yeah. I mean, that's not to say, a tri-suit, it would work for some
Yeah,
races and
depends on
some,
the time of year
yeah,
and the
just
yeah,
depends, doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
But it just got me, I was just surprised, I suppose, because I know all of the information there and I know where to get it, I guess. It's just getting that information to people who've come from wherever. They land at Swimrun. Oh, I'll enter this, type this
hmm.
in and see what happens.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
I mean, Zone 3 also do a swim run
of
suit.
course, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And Becky is, intelligent lady. So just started me thinking, and there we go. And then another lady was asking about when do I drill my shoes? When do I drill holes
oh,
in my shoes? Now,
yeah, don't
this
bother.
was something people used to do,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's totally not necessary. But that's still, I think she said, "Oh yeah, well, I went on Google and it said you've got to drill a hole in this." So
yeah.
anyway, um, there we go. So how are you getting on with paddles and pull buoy?
Well, I very early back in the day went for when we could still buy things from Sweden without getting like, import taxes and stuff. I got my hands on a not the super uber mega arc pull boy, but I don't know, what's the in between one, the medium
Keel,
version. Yeah,
the art keel,
yeah,
or
yeah,
yeah,
just the keel, I think,
just the keel, yeah,
just the keel and some of the medium of their hand paddles,
yeah.
and they were so much better than what I was, just my general swimming hand paddles and stuff at the time, that they seemed magnificent anyway. So I've never really progressed beyond that. I see all this, all these lovely looking carbon and I don't know, with fancy patterns on that are supposed to help you glide through the water, and the ones with the incredible like side panels. Like
Yeah.
there's quite a lot of those in at X, and I'm not sure I've got the upper body like musculature to cope with those. So, but yeah, like a good. I really like. I think my original Arc paddles and Pool Boy. They're just really good. So,
Yeah.
so no need to really. I mean, also don't have the funds to be forever, buying the next big thing. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that Arc keel is brilliant. It's yeah. The bigger ones they're bringing out, I think, will work for some people. But yeah, it's less. It's the sweatsuit and the trainers are the things to get sorted and happy with, and then
yeah,
for me, well, the way I see it, and then the pull buoy is the next thing to get happy with, and
yeah,
then later down the line, the paddles if you want to.
yeah. Well, and the number of races I've been to where somebody new has shown up, and they have got the suit and they've got the shoes, and they look at you and they're like, "Oh, you've got." So are the paddles useful? Are they, and the pull buoy? And you sort of maybe see them later on the course, and they're going, "I can see now why the paddles and pull buoy are useful."
Yeah,
And you're like, "Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yes, this is it happens so much. On Saturday we had Tally Clint swim run, and it happens every
mm."
event where
Which is
you.
beautiful and wonderful.
It
Can I
is.
say
Yeah.
it's a
Oh, you were
great
there
thing.
last year, weren't you? Yeah.
I was,
And
yes. We were the top
uh,
ladies team.
you were top ladies team. In fact,
I think we were the
I'm
only
pretty
ladies team,
sure.
but
Yeah, you are the reigning, but you're still the reigning ladies course record holders team. The
yeah,
mixed team got smashed. The record got smashed. It was very fast at the front with the mixed team and the solos.
yeah.
But
One
yeah,
of the days when I will be on the podium. It's about time. Like, I mean, I've been on far too many podiums, and I am so average at swimming and running. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, it's about time
yeah. Well, Sarah,
the speedy ones.
don't write yourself off yet, but I'm the similar kind of situation. But yeah, there was loads of learning. Like people were
Mm,
going around the course. Oh, I see why you've got that. And yeah,
yeah,
it's almost impossible to. I've done workshops, and there's definitely some kind of moments where people get the penny drops. But there's
yeah,
nothing quite like a race for a learning experience, I think. And
yeah,
have your question, do what you can to learn about stuff. But when you enter a race and and all the guys are friendly, the top guy,
mm.
in
Oh,
swimrun, it seems that way. They happily
brilliant.
share the
Yeah,
knowledge, and the learning you get by the end of the race is massive, isn't it?
it is. And I mean, that, as you said, that sort of community, that people sharing like information. Like, I feel like at triathlon these days, you turn up and everybody's got the super fancy bikes and stuff, but they're not. It's not like they'll go, "Oh, this is very exciting. You should have a look at this." And because of
Mm,
this, I go so much
mm,
faster, and it's amazing. And you
yeah,
you should get one of
yeah,
these too.
yeah,
Whereas at Swimrun, it is like I remember
yeah.
going to. I don't know. It was one of. It was either Brecca Gower or Brecca Jersey. I think it might have been Jersey when Fred made it the national championships that
Oh
year,
yes.
and um, and the two guys I think who came first and second in the men's solos. One of them I think was relatively new to the sport, and at the end I could see him and the guy who, like, I can't remember what positions they came in, but they were like first and second. And the guy who had won was telling the other guy what he could, what he needed to be better than him, basically. And
Yeah,
you don't get that in.
yeah.
Surely you don't get that in triathlon. I don't know. Maybe you do, and I've
No,
just not seen it.
yeah. I mean, maybe you do, yeah. I hesitate to talk, be too critical of triathlon because it is great as well. And you
It is. I
compete
still
in
do it.
you just done a half Ironman, haven't you? Yeah, you
Yes, yes,
still
it
do.
is.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah, it does. I guess just because it's smaller and there's less competition, I suppose, or whatever it is. But yeah, definitely swimrun is every race is like a shared learning experience for every
yeah, yeah.
participant.
I mean, to be
So
fair as well, it's quite. I don't know if that also comes from. It's like managed danger, but not. You know what I mean? It's not. I know. I've never felt. that I have been in danger on a swim run course, the organisers have always put in great water safety and various. But there is that element of sort of wild adventure about it, and I don't know if that also brings people together more. Because when you're getting in, like, I mean, that year I went to Malta, the year that it was like the sea was ridiculous.
Yeah, 2019.
And yeah, unfortunately, I got timed out before they before they allowed me to get in that final swim, because I'm not sure. And if anybody listening has not seen it, Google it and look at the YouTube videos, because it's just insane. I'm not sure I would have got in that final swim.
Yeah, that was epic. I only did the sprint on the Saturday, and it wasn't as bad at all then. And yeah, so I watched. I was an enthusiastic spectator on the Sunday, and yeah, it was awesome. And that swim at Popeye Village where he got in,
yes, yeah,
and the get out for that was just great fun. Watching it. And I was quite jealous, and I wasn't doing it, but yeah, that was. Yeah, Malta's obviously not happening anymore, but
yeah, which is a real shame. I mean,
it'll come back.
Yeah, I did it again because of that. So me and Vinny went, and because we'd done the Gower, and we weren't like super fast, but they were a bit more kind of like, okay, you're half an hour inside the cutoff, and then by the next one you were like, oh, it's all right, you're 45 minutes inside the cutoff. So we were like, okay, we're getting better, we're okay, we're not going to get timed out. And the Attilio, it was a bit more, they let you get on with it, and obviously didn't bother telling us that we were getting close to the cutoff. So we just didn't comprehend that we could get cut out of something. And about 5 hours in, we arrived at a checkpoint 2 minutes late, and they cut us from the course. So a couple of years later, I went back and I did it myself, and I very much made sure that I was not going to get cut from that one. But it was, I mean, it's a really tough course, like, but beautiful and interesting, and every swim was different, and so yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But then, and it was kind of easy, it was easy for us to get to. The accommodations relatively cheap, which are all important,
Yeah, good time of year. End of season, it was November, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, although obviously, can be a bit windy.
Can be, yeah. Yeah. So, as I occasionally get a question on what to, as a female, wear under your wetsuit, I say what I know. However, what do you wear under your wetsuit, Sarah?
Well, I have, I wear like I've got some short tri bottoms, the Orca ones that I've had for decades, and I was clever enough at the time to buy 2 pairs as well, which I'm never good at. If you find something you like, and then by the time it's worn out, you can never find it again. Well, I was pretty smart this time, and I bought 2 pairs of them. So yeah, they're just short tri shorts, quite low slung. So they're like like small boxer briefs or something. I don't know. They're quite good. And I did have like a matching bra top to go with it, but that has seen its at the end of its life. So just a good sports bra. And I've got, like, back in the day, Head also used to do a vest with pockets on, like you get with the Art Kangaroo top. So I also bought a couple of those because I saw one extra one. So I mean, it would be good if somebody else would come up with a with a cheaper version of the kangaroo top, that because I'm sure they're wonderful, but it's very, like, kit is very expensive, and so I can see that probably does put a few people off. But if I'm just training up and down the seafront, I can get my cosy on and my swim run suit, as long as it's a good firm swim run suit and I keep it up. It's fine. Nobody needs to see that running down the seafront, to be fair. Although nobody would really notice. I live by the seaside, you can get away with anything, I think.
That's true.
But yeah, I do see some of these lovely kind of, there's some ladies in Scandinavia who've like created, don't ask me to pronounce it, is it swine or something like that? Tops and bottoms for under, but it's just outside my price range.
Is it Swinjin?
Is that how we're going? Is it?
Swingen, I think it's called. But yeah, they sound really good.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't know much about them. But yeah, it's an interesting, and it's not just the comfort. Then, as you
Yeah.
said, with the nutrition
Basically, you want to be
carrying
wearing
ability.
anything that doesn't rub. That's a
Yes. Yeah.
men or women.
Yeah.
I think
So
that goes for.
yeah. Well, for years, generally, I don't wear anything underneath unless there's a kind of nutrition carrying or gear carrying requirement that I want to kind of fulfill.
Yeah.
In the past, I'd gaffer tape stuff to my back and
Wow.
sides, gels, or the bandage for some races you have to carry.
Yeah.
You used to have to carry a compass and a map, the OTO ones.
Yes. Yeah, which was funny because I
So
think the first
yeah,
time was that. Yeah, when I went to do the final 15, I'm sure it was and it was only like a 15K one, but I'm sure you had to have a compass, and the map they gave you didn't actually have any like compass stuff on it, so
yeah,
just like a map somebody had drawn.
yeah. So what have you got? Any races coming up, Sarah?
I am doing Studland in.
Oh,
Is that about a week and a half?
yeah.
Coming from the lovely flat Portsmouth, that's going to be a challenge. I might attempt a hill session in this weekend, I think. But I'm really looking forward to that. It should be really interesting because also that will then, I think that counts as our most local race. So there's 3 of us going from Southsea Swimrun. So hopefully we'll have a lovely time.
Cool.
And excuse me. And then I have signed up for the Hokey Cokey Roseland in July, which I went to last year, but they had weather then as well, so they couldn't do the full course. They did a sort of almost laps of Mevagissey and the surrounding area, which they made us climb these awful, awful steps up off this beach 5 times, I think.
Wow.
Which, so hopefully I'll only see them once this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good 36-kilometre event, so I'm a little bit concerned about my preparation. But again, it'll be a spectacular coastline. Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and I'd love to go to the Scilly Isles. It's always been on my list, and then obviously Attilo stopped doing it. But they're called Scilly 60, I think. Yeah. I just need to suss out how much it'll all cost me to get there and maybe camp. But it just looks so beautiful. But I do know the sea off the Scilly Islands is supposed to be absolutely freezing, isn't it? So that adds a new challenge.
Well, Outlow it should be okay because Outlow used to do it in June, early June, and it was cooler. But end of August, I think
it might be a bit better.
I think you'll be okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's probably a good, from a race organizer point of view, it's probably better. And anyway, we'll see what happens. All good, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And do you have your British Swimrun ID?
I do. I was disappointed not to be 007. I think I'm 8.
Oh, 008, isn't it? Well, isn't that the next? I've lost track with James Bond now. Wasn't there a lady? Is she 008?
Well, no, she was actually 007 when he was off doing. Was he presumed dead? I don't know, or retired.
I think he did die, which is a shame.
Yeah, I have a horrible feeling Sean Bean might have been 008 when he was a bad guy, but he might have been 006. Who knows?
Okay, but they would have been good at swimrun. No, James Bond. He would.
Oh, totally. He'd be well into that. Yeah.
So cool. Well, Sarah, it's been great to have you on, and good luck at Studland and Roseland, and possibly Scilly. Hopefully, we'll see you at some point this year.
Well, yeah. Are you doing any? Or are you...
Yes. Now, breaking news. Well, not breaking news at all. But I'm going to be flying to Sweden in a few hours to do UTO.
Wow.
First
Awesome.
time ever doing solo category in World Series or long distance. So
Oh,
that's
great.
kind of changed. It was the first podcast, actually, Max Anderson, we were talking about solos and teams,
Yep.
and he kind of sparked an interest. He said, he asked if I'd ever done a solo, and because he had, in the World Series kind of distance, and I said I hadn't, and I started to think, well, maybe I should, because I'm always going on about how teams is the best way to do it. I thought,
Yeah.
well, actually, I need to do one solo, and then I
Yeah.
can speak
Yeah. Then
with
you can actually.
knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
So there we go. We'll see how we get on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you are a bit swifter than I am, but I quite enjoy racing solo, but I'm quite I can be quite a solitary person. So it's great having a buddy, especially if they're better at swimming than you and can tow you around. Love that.
Yeah.
But you're never entirely alone anyway. Like there's always other people around the course. There's I have a random chat with random people.
That
As
is
you
true.
said, everybody's friendly.
Yeah. And this year, I think for the first time, they're going to set the teams off 5 minutes before the solos. So that could be interesting for the fast people trying to chase down the teams, I guess. So that'll be interesting. And I'm hoping to get to Clanberis a week. I've got to clear it with head office. But hoping to get to Clanberis. Love Swimrun the 15th of September. Sorry, next June, not September. Next Saturday, and then I'd like to get an end of season one in as well.
Yeah,
see what happens.
Yeah, me too.
But,
I'm thinking the Gribben might be a possibility. And you write them all out, and you're like, well, but then there's also Coniston. How do I get to Coniston? It's like So it gets out of hand, doesn't it, very quickly?
It does, yeah. And there's a lot of races now in the UK. So lots to choose from.
Yeah. Lots and beautiful places run by fabulous people. So,
of course, good stuff. Okay, thank you, Sarah, and good luck with everything and Southsea Swimrun, of course.
Thank you.
And see you on the podium.
Yeah, maybe one. Oh, yeah. I got a podium out in Swimrun because I was only the second of only 2 solo women. So
there we go.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. Anyway,
you got to be there to get there, haven't you? So
you do, and it was a tough day out, so I'll take it. So.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Right. Well, good luck.
Thank you. Bye now. Okay, guys, just to close this podcast, this episode, I'm in a strange situation here. I'm in Helsinki, a hotel in Helsinki. I was coming back from Uto, and the flight was delayed from Sweden to Finland. It was a kind of connection. And the good people of Finnair have put me up in a hotel. So I thought I'll quickly end the podcast and have a quick chat about Uto. And also, big shout out to everyone who did the Great North Swim Run in the Lake District on Saturday, and Neen Valley, which happened today, Sunday, as keen as mustard's one of their events. So, well done, guys. Next weekend, of course, there's Clanberis in Wales, North Wales. Quite a few of the regulars I know from the My Swimrun Championships are going, and I hope to be there. Also, there's Studland down on the south coast. So loads of stuff going on. Quickly, Uto was awesome. I did it solo. First time, that kind of distance solo. It was great fun. Not as fun as with a partner, I've got to say. But it's an awesome course still. I would race it solo again. But if a partner was available, I'd do it with them. Paul had quite a few childcare duties this weekend, and there we go. So but it was great. It was water temp was varied from 16 in some swims and maybe 10, 11 in some others. So it was great. And then the island bit towards the end was quite rough and bouncy, getting bumped onto the rocks. Brilliant. Loved it. Love that course. So much in and out. so many transitions. So yeah, met some great guys from the UK. A lot of them first timers, taking on the World Series course as well. Quite a few in the shorter distances. But yeah, it was great to see. And I think the last team came in was a British team, and they got the loudest cheer of the whole lot, which was awesome. So yeah, good fun. One standout moment really was Daniel Hansen and Kristen Larson, who came second in the mixed team category. And Adriel Young won it with Hugo Tormentel. I'm not sure if that's pronounced, but I'll just call him Hugo. They won outright. So Adriel, Kristen and Daniel, a couple of hours after finishing the 35k, is it? Something like that. They then went on an all-nighter, not an all-night rave, an all-night swim run, training for the one water race. It was started to rain, got quite windy, and yeah. Anyway, that's what they did. 2 hours after finishing a World Series and winning and coming second, they put on the one water race bibs and off they went. And that's what it takes, guys, to even stand a chance at the one water race. Which, if you've not heard of it, check out episode something or other with Thomas Oganda. It was between episode 10 and 18. You'll find it. Yeah. So there we go. That's what they did. So I'm hopefully going to get back to the UK tomorrow and have loads of stuff to do. But I do hope to get another episode out soon because we've missed a couple. I know it's been crazy times. But yeah, going to get back podding as much as possible. And there we go. So thanks for listening. Happy racing. Happy summer.